Welcome to the Billionaire Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Emmett Muckles. Please visit iTunes, Stitcher, or emmettmuckles.com to listen to all the episodes for free.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today, my guest is MCartney Green. Now, MCartney Green is here to help us, whether it's messages from transcendent beings, whether you want to go to her website, whether you are involved with MCartney Speaks, or you see her on LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever it may be, she has something for you. Hi, MCartney.
Hi, Emmett. It's so nice to be on your show today.
So you are such a dynamic individual. I'm going to ask you to impart upon our listeners what it is that you do, because I always mess it up. Even if I read it, I mess it up. I don't get the essence of what people do.
The essence, the very essence, is I like to bring people joy. Because have you ever driven around in a car and you just look around and everyone looks so miserable as they're driving around?
Yes.
Well, I want to bring those people joy. But what I do is I'm an author first and a speaker first. Those two things go hand in hand. And a life coach and a spiritual mentor, and just anything that I can do to help people to find their spiritual connection and to find their joy. I haven't always been so freaking happy, but I am totally happy now. And you know what you want to do when you're really, really happy is you just want to share it with everyone.
I know, there's been some times in my life where I've come across that happy person. I'm like, go away. I just want to be upset. Leave me alone. Let me be. Look, just step off. But, as you progress through this journey of the physical body on this planet, you tend to change your outlook on things, which means you tend to grow. And one of those things is being happy and finding out that happiness is not what everybody's been telling you or what you've been programmed to believe. Now, what I want to find out first is your journey. How did you get to this point in your life to where you said, I'm going to be happy and I want to share it to other people? Because life doesn't just automatically put you there.
You're right. It doesn't. And you've probably heard people say happiness is a choice. And whenever I say that to someone, it really pisses them off usually, because they say, oh, don't you think I want to be happy? And I always tell them, yes, I think you want to be happy. But wanting to be happy and choosing to be happy are two different things. But mine wasn't even a choice. It was nothing that I did. I have to say, I had divine intervention, because I was at a truly low part of my life. I was at the bottom of the barrel. And I'll just tell you real quickly, I was born into poverty and alcoholism and neglect and abuse and hunger. I was always so hungry. And then I grew up and I got married and I thought everything would be better, right? But it doesn't get better if you don't know that things can get better. If all you've ever known is want and need, that's pretty much all you attract to yourself is more want and need. So there was a point in my life, I had been married 20 years. We had 7 amazing, beautiful children. They were my joy at that time. But life was falling apart. My husband had lost his job, and I was working 3 part-time jobs trying to keep a roof over our heads, and just the financial stress and pressure trying to feed 7 children was almost unbearable. And then on top of that, I knew that our 20-year marriage, I knew that it was coming to an end. It was crumbling, and I felt very alone and unloved. And then on top of that, I was sexually assaulted in a Wendy's parking lot.
Ooh, no.
And yeah, with that, I was so filled with guilt and shame, because at the time I was this amazing athlete. I was 40 years old, but we were all very big athletic type family, and I was big into bodybuilding and into running. I was running 6 miles a day. I was very, very strong, very, very agile, and I thought if anybody ever tried to hurt me, I would kick their butts. If you know what I mean. And I didn't. I froze. I froze in fear. And so the guilt and shame of that to me was almost more unbearable than what had actually happened. And then on top of that, well, not on top of that, it was what I did. It was my choice, but I just convinced myself that the world and my children would be better off without me, and I tried to take my own life.
No.
So I really, I did, and I really was at the bottom of the barrel. I mean, I think of that person now, and I can't even remember that I was that person. But that's where I was at the time. And I had a divine intervention. I actually woke up one morning, and there was a man standing at the foot of my bed, and I was not afraid at all because I just had a knowing that this was not just a regular man. This was some sort of heavenly being. And I was not religious at the time, so this was a far-fetched jump for me to come to that realization, because at the time, my life was so bad, I had just pretty much lost my faith, and I'd given up that there was anything higher, in this world. But I woke up and he was there. There was a light all around him, and
like an aura light.
Yes, it wasn't a bright light, so bright that I couldn't see. Like some people describe it, brighter than the noonday sun. No, it wasn't like that. But it was a bright aura light, a very bright light around him. He was glowing. He didn't look like a regular angel, like you would, or heavenly messenger. You picture somebody in white robes or something. It wasn't like that. He was actually a Native American, and he was bare from the waist up, and he had like a black blanket type thing wrapped around his waist. But he had long black hair about down to the middle of his back. And he had the kindest smile. See, I wish I could convey to people when I tell this story how I could actually feel love emanating from him. It was just emanating off of him, and it took away any fear or any misgivings I might have had. And he smiled at me so kindly, and he counseled me, and he advised me. And one of the last things he said to me was that I needed to write. And see, at that time in my life, I'd never, how they say there's a book inside everybody?
Yeah.
Everyone has a story to tell. Well, not me.
Hey, let me interrupt you.
I had never.
Let me interrupt you real quick.
I never thought about writing a book. Yeah, go ahead.
So when you say he was talking to you, in what manner of communications was it verbal or was it nonverbal?
Do that's a good question.
I mean, that's how I see it. I mean, that's what keyed in.
It actually is a great question, because you're making me think. Because I always tell people that he spoke to me, and he did. But did I see his mouth actually moving? I think I did see his mouth actually moving. So yes, I'm going to say he spoke to me verbally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, continue.
That's
sorry.
That's a good question. You made me. That's okay. You made me think, and that was awesome.
No, I'm going to tell you the reason why I asked that, because we experienced this on this planet where you meet somebody and you just automatically connect with them, and there's this communication. Like when they say something, you're like, I already knew that. I kind of felt that. And we know that there's nonverbal communications where you can impart a great deal of data, but. And then there's what we are doing now, which is moving air.
Right.
All right, but continue.
Exactly.
I digress.
Well, I think it was a little both of that, because like I said, I immediately had a knowing that this was not just a normal man, and that there was love emanating from him. He didn't say, I love you, but I knew that there was. So I guess there was a little of both going on. But he counseled me. He counseled me to write, and like I said, I'd never even thought about writing a thing at that time. And I was pretty irreverent, I said, write what, in my little irreverent way. He smiled that really kind smile at me, and he said, "Write your story, write love, and begin immediately." And I did begin to write, but I also did another thing, and that was I took this amazing, miraculous, wonderful event, and I shoved it into the corner of my mind to ponder on another day. I did, except for my family, I didn't really tell anyone about it. I sort of ignored this amazing thing that had happened. And I didn't hear from him again for 22 years.
Was there a name to
and
this entity?
He didn't give me his name, but I named him because when I began to write, I began writing fiction. Well, I didn't start writing fiction. I started writing a journal of my own life, which, as I told you, was not turning out so well. So I started changing things to make it seem better. And as I wrote, I ended up writing total fiction, and I absolutely found my bliss. I was so in love, I couldn't stop writing, and I based the hero in that first novel on this heavenly being that had appeared to me. And so I call him Grandmaster Eric Keno.
You made me think of Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five when you said that. You know, say that again.
The Furious Five.
You know, that's
Grandmaster Eric Keno.
Okay, that's an old hip hop. That's like one of the originals of hip hop. Grandmaster Flash.
Oh. Okay, gotcha.
All right, so we got Grandmaster. This brick dropping the science on you.
Absolutely.
I told you were going to have some fun with me, didn't I? I told you you were going to laugh.
Yeah. I love it when you make me laugh. That's awesome. But he is a big hero in this first novel, and he espouses wisdom and all that. But I actually ended up writing 8 novels because I couldn't stop writing. And he wasn't always the main hero in all of those novels, but he was the wise one that everyone turned to for advice and for wisdom and to help them through whatever problems they were having in their life. So he became the major guy that, people would write to me and say and ask me about him, about this Eric, and was I ever going to write anything else? And that's actually how it brought me to writing Messages from Transcendent Being. Is in all of this happened back in 1994, but in July 31st of 2015, I had a reader write me on my Facebook page, and she said, "McCartney, are you ever going to write anything else about the Kenos?" And I said, "Well, I've already written 8 novels, and each time they get a little bit older, and they're getting pretty old now. I'd either have to kill them off or make them live forever." And she wrote back and said, "Well, it would be awesome if you would make them live forever." So I started thinking about that, and I was doing a meditation, and I became my irreverent self again, and I said, okay, so people want me to continue writing about Eric Keno, but really and truly, why should I bother to write any more books? I mean, they're not great big bestsellers. The people who've read them love them, but they're not great big bestsellers because I know nothing about marketing and networking, and nothing's really ever come of them. So why should I even continue to do this? Why would a heavenly messenger actually appear to me and tell me to write when nothing was ever going to come of it? And for the first time in 22 years, he came back. He came back, but this time he didn't appear to me. He just spoke to me inside my head, but it was loud enough for me to hear. And he said, "You will write a nonfiction book about the memoirs of Eric Keno." And I got irreverent again right away. I said, "Memoirs of Eric Keno? Well, he's a fictional character. I can't write memoirs of a fictional character. People will think I'm trying to pull a fast one on them." And he said, "Well, of course, there must always be integrity in everything you do. Therefore, you will write a preface that will explain that this is allegory, because Jesus taught in parables, and that was always the best way to learn. Mm-hmm. And so you will write this allegory." And I was like, wow, okay. And I started to feel like this is something I could do, And immediately, my mind went to a fictional interview. I start writing immediately in my head because I love to write. But I started writing immediately, and it was this fictional interview it came to where it said, some reporter was saying, "And so, Grandmaster Keno, do you believe in God?" And he said, "Yes, I do." And he said, "Well, as a man of science, how can you believe in God?" And he answers and says, "As a man of science, how can I not?" And this is just, I'm writing this as I go. Okay, I finish my meditation, and I speak to my husband, and he says, "Honey, I just saw a neat video on Facebook. I sent it to you." And I said, "Okay, I'll go look at it." So I pulled up on my computer, and I looked at this video that my husband sent to me. and my jaw drops because it says, the name of the video is Scientists Prove That God Exists. And at about the 33-second mark of that video, the man in that video says almost the exact same words that I just said in that make-believe interview in my head.
That's awesome.
And I knew it was a synchronicity sent to me to let me know you are not crazy. You are not just imagining these words in your head. Yes, we are speaking to you, or I am speaking to you, and this is for real, and you do need to write this book. One of the things I forgot to tell you that he actually said to me, he says, when I said, well, he's a fictional character, he said, is he fictional? For you believe he is real, and I am he. That's what he said. And I was like, whoa.
That reminds me of something I literally just heard maybe an hour ago, and it was this show that I was watching about, I think it was called The Moses Code. And they broke it down, and it says, where God says to Moses, "I am that I am," and we say it in that fashion. But they said there's a very important point that's missing, which is the key to it, which is a comma. I am that. I am. So I am that.
I am that.
So if you look at a cat going by, I am that. I am. There's a lamp.
Yeah.
I am that. I am. Doesn't that?
That's pretty interesting.
So it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, but as a writer, you know that punctuation is everything.
It is.
It changes the meaning.
Brings context to life.
Yes, exactly.
All right, keep going. I keep digressing because your story is interesting, and I'm sitting here on the edge of my seat, wondering, okay, how do we progress forward? Let's turn the page.
Okay, well, we're turning the page. I'm so slothful, so I did not begin writing right away because I had family. It was during that time, or it began to be fall, and I have 7 children and 13 grandchildren, and from the fall all the way through till January is, pretty crazy around our home. And, excuse me. And so I sort of was slothful, and I put it off, and then I had a vision in the last week of December, and in that vision, it pretty much told me that I need to get to it. And it was actually it wasn't threatening in any way, but it pretty much told me that if, there was no reason for me to continue on this earth if I am not to do the things that I need to do.
That's
so
a big kick in the pants.
Or do you not?
That's a big kick in the pants.
Yes, it was. It was. And the way he did it, I'll just have to tell you the way it was done, because it was done in a loving way, but it was like a aha moment for me. I had a vision. Well, first I heard a voice that said, you have a choice. You may leave this world, and actually, if you do, you will come back immediately. And you will come back remembering and knowing everything that you know now, plus all of the information you will remember once you leave your body. And you will be able to come back as a baby. And I thought, oh my gosh, isn't that what everybody always wants?
That is the
dream. If I could do it again, knowing what I know now.
That is the dream.
and I thought, oh my gosh, for real? And I knew that this was real because I started to let myself go for a second, and I felt myself start to rise up out of my body. And I stopped it immediately. I went, oh, wait. And they said, but if you choose to stay, then you need to write this book, and you need to follow the path you're being led on. So I thought, man, it's really tempting. It's really tempting. But my children had just lost their father a few years earlier, and they were all devastated by this. And I had my children and my grandchildren who were pretty much clinging to me, and they all depend on me so heavily. And I decided that I couldn't leave them. I couldn't give them that heartbreak right now when I had more that I needed to serve and needed to give. I needed to serve. So I chose to stay. And then as soon as I said, okay, I'm going to stay, it was very loud in my head. It was these words, then get to it. very loud. And I went,
Now,
okay.
I'm gonna divert for a minute here. There was no ayahuasca involved. There was no altering drugs involved here. That was just straight from. It just. That's the experience people have. So I have to ask it.
Absolutely. I have never done any drugs at all. The strongest drug I've ever done was coffee, which I don't do anymore either.
And I ask this for a reason, because there are people who are stuck in the dimension of our senses. And that means the senses that we are born with and that we can comprehend with our human brain. But there is, and we all know this kind of inside of ourselves intuitively, but we don't always accept it, that there's more to our environment than we can take in. And so for those people who may not be very versed in the spiritual, the other dimensions that we can occupy, as far as thought, projection, things like that. That's why I asked that question, because some people be like, yeah, I did that once too.
I love it. And I have to tell you, Emmett, I love exactly what you just said, because when Women's Speakers Association asked me for a quote that they could put down for me, and say McCartney Green says this is a quote that I gave them. I know of a surety that there is so much more going on behind the scenes than we can experience with our five senses. That is, there is so much more, and when we can connect to that, what the other that's going on, that's when we really find true joy and are lifted above all of our pain.
It's hard to get there,
yes.
But you're right.
Yeah. It's not as hard. It's not that hard anymore, because they gave me keys to get there. When I was writing the book that they told me to write.
Hold on. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay. Well, I don't want you to think it's hard. I want you to know that it's so
we'll
possible.
get there. We'll get there. Slow your roll. Pump your brakes.
Oh, you have me rolling over here.
See, this is how my interviews are. They're just two humans doing human things, talking and communicating. So you got busy. So it was.
I did.
And what was that process?
Well, I decided that I did not want that. I felt very connected and very in touch, and I decided that I don't want this information to come from me or something that I make up. He said, this is not fiction, this is nonfiction. So I would sit in front of the computer, and I didn't know if he would come through or not. And I sat and I meditated and I cleared my mind, and almost immediately my brain would fill up with all the words I was supposed to be writing, and I almost couldn't type fast enough. I'm not saying that it's channeled, because I didn't go somewhere else. My intellect didn't go somewhere else. But I did just write the words and the thoughts that came into my brain after I meditated. And so it went like that. If there was ever a day where I sat down to write and nothing came, I didn't try to force it. I didn't try to, so I could finish the book, put in my own words or my own thoughts. I just let it go that day. Yep. But those days were few and far between. Mostly it was sit down and write and meditate, and then it would just flow. It was beautiful. And as I was working on the book, miraculous things started happening in my life. I've had since then probably 4 or 5 different occasions where someone that I don't even know would either email me or ask if they could call me, and they would call me and they would say these words to me. I know this is going to sound crazy, but it's almost like God is talking to me and is telling me to give you this opportunity or that opportunity, or a free this or a free course. I've had it happen to me so many times now that I've almost come to expect it. But that doesn't sound right either, does it?
No, because actually that does sound right. I hate to say it, but okay. that does sound right, because we should expect good things. And
yes.
And what is so mind-boggling to me because I even go through it myself. I have these bouts of little paranoia, as everyone has, like, oh no, no, no. And it always works out because you plant the seed in a forethought, and then you go on the journey, and while you're walking on that road of the journey, you're like, oh no, some clouds ahead. Oh no. But you've planted the thought, and you have to just let that go. And my uncle told me this. He was like, you have to plant, he says, plant the seed, and then don't expect your fruit where you planted the seed. It's just going to come.
That's perfect. That's right. That's so right. That is so right.
But continue.
And you have to take a step, but it doesn't have to be a major step, just a baby step.
You just and that is what is so pertinent about our culture, is that particularly in our time frame of now, is that people don't even expect to take the step forward towards their journey. They figure that the earth is going to turn and they are going to end up there. But they have to put a foot forward, at least in the direction that they're supposed to go, so that they can obtain those goals. That's the one thing that I see consistently because of this whole media thing with Instagram and YouTube and instant stars. Not a lot of work, a lot of payoff. But once again, I rattled off my mouth.
I love it's a two-way conversation here. So that's beautiful.
This is, but I want to gather the information from you because you have a very unique perspective on a whole diaspora of life, and because you've been through some things. So you know, there's this song, and I'm referencing hip hop heavily with you, and I usually don't, but there's this song that says, we started from the bottom and now we're here. And that's literally your story. You say you started from the bottom and you came up to where you needed to be.
Yes.
And that's a beautiful thing. So you wrote
and I struggled.
And everybody struggles everybody struggles because struggling is the learning process. If everything was to just go our way automatically, we wouldn't learn anything. For instance, me putting together this so that I can spot like beautiful individuals like yourself, I come through things, I'm like, that didn't work. Why didn't that work? And it makes me think, if you're smart, it says, I did something and it didn't have the outcome that I expected. Why? And it's as simple as that.
Yeah, I'm a slow learner. It took me years, so many years of figuring things out. And I think even the divine intervention that I talk about, I joke about, and I say, I think he and I had a pact before I came to Earth, that if I didn't figure things out by the time I was 40 years old, he'd come down and knock me upside the head. And he did it, and then he did it again, and then he did it again.
And that's what we need.
Having to.
That's what we need.
I actually asked for it. I said, make it so I see you, please.
And that's, you're imparting some really beautiful lessons. If for anyone who's listening, you're saying it doesn't matter where you are, you can end up where you want to be. Other thing you said is, if you want something, simply ask for it. If you ask for it, and if you ask for it with all your heart and being, if you believe in it, it will come. So, just in the moments that we've been here together, laughing and joking and imparting information, you dropped some bombs on people.
I love dropping bombs on people. And please don't quote me.
Don't worry, it's recorded. We're all good. But you know what I'm saying? You're dropping a bomb of knowledge on people. You're dropping of enlightenment on people, because some people seriously have gone through this life and don't know what you've just said. I mean, they're 40, 50, 60 years old and they're just figuring it out.
Exactly. And one of the things that really holds them back is they've heard of higher divine beings, God, source, universal power, whatever you want to call it, whatever, in your belief system, it doesn't matter. But they've heard of it, but they don't really and truly get it. They don't really know that there really is something just beyond what our five senses can experience. It's there. It's real. It's really there. It's not just some legend or some figment of someone's imagination. And if people realize that, because it took them showing me before I could actually get my butt into gear. And so I want to help people to know and to see that they can have that same knowledge, the same knowledge that I had. It may not be the same circumstance, it may not be the same thing, but everyone has individuals working on their behalf behind the scenes. Every single person does. And if they could only know that, they would feel so much more comfortable. It would be easier to let go of trying to force everything and let go and just learn and take steps.
And I believe you have given a platform for people to absorb all this knowledge that you have acquired in the form of How to Have Unshakable Joy, 7 Keys to Happy Life, and with a big A-N-D, to becoming a manifesting magnet. Becoming a manifesting magnet. So let's move forward with that. There are some things that people just can't move forward with because they have this stress in their life. They don't feel like they're part of this experience that everyone else is also part of. So can you kind of go through some of the steps, or at least name the steps, so that people can get your works and already be ready to just dive in deep?
Wonderful. Yes, I can. And I love going through the steps. But I have to always preface them with this. They're so easy. They're so freaking simple and easy and take very little time that people almost think they're not worth doing, or they're not worthwhile. Unless we make something really difficult, you might even think it's not worth your while.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was taught from my contact is that everyone tries to make things much more difficult than they are. And it actually is very, very simple. I learned that, and I learned another thing. One of these steps in here is very, very important, not just to the person's well-being and to their joy, but very, very important to our world, to the earth in general. And if I could get everybody to do it, it would actually become a moment. What am I trying to say? It would give momentum to light taking over this world completely. And I mean, in other words, my contact has actually told me that if I could get hundreds of thousands or millions of people to do step number 4 in this process, just step number 4, it would change the world.
What's step number 4? You got me on the edge of my seat now. I'm like, why is she making me wait?
Okay. Well, you remember that I said they were all really easy, right?
Yes.
Step number 4 is so easy, and it's called pulling light. Now, you've probably heard of people who will sit and meditate for 15, 20, 30 minutes, wherever, and they do a light meditation, and they see light come down through the crown chakra, and they move it through their body. You've probably heard of that, right?
Yes,
or
I
you've
have.
done it, maybe. Okay, yes. So, and that's a beautiful thing, and if people have time to do it. But, we're in a world where everybody is instantaneous. Like you said, everything is instant. So this procedure that I call pulling light is more like, do you remember when everybody was doing the ice bucket challenge?
Yes.
And it was a big whoosh of ice water over your body. It's over in 2 seconds, right?
Yes.
Whoosh.
I thought they were crazy.
Okay, well, well, this pulling light is like that. Only instead of just washing over your body, you're pulling this light through your body in a 2-second flash, like a lightning flash, through your body, through your crown chakra, all the way through your entire body. If you're standing up, it would exit the soles of your feet and go into the core of the earth. And if you were sitting down, it would exit through the root chakra and go into the core of the earth. And it's not a big light meditation. It's just boom. And you can start it. You can see it if you want to see it all the way coming from the heavens, from God, from Jesus, from a star, from the sun. It doesn't matter. Just light, because where there's light, there can be no darkness. And so you see this whooshing of light come down through your head, whoosh through your body. It cleanses your body of every single thing of darkness that there could be, for those few seconds anyway, and it goes into the core of the earth. This light can change your mood. It can change a feeling. It can do so much. I always tell the story of I've used it to, I don't just pull light through myself. I pull it around circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, I was walking down a lonely road. And, I'm a little jumpy around strangers ever since. And ever since that night back at Wendy's parking lot. But I was going down a lonely road. It was daytime, though. But a white van passed me. And as he passed me, he slowed down. And then he pulled over to the right side of the road, on the same side that I was walking on. And he... I got nervous about that. And then he got out of his van and started walking towards me. And I got very nervous about that, and I didn't know whether I should turn around and walk fast the other way. But then he'd be behind me, and I wouldn't be able to see him, and I wasn't sure what to do. So I immediately pulled light through my body. And when I pull light, I always put a shield around my body, too. So I put light and shield around my body. And then I put light around the whole situation. And the man just suddenly stopped. Now, this took me all of 2 seconds, okay? The man just stopped as if he felt the light go around the situation. And he looked at me for a moment, and he turned around, and he got back in the van, and he drove away. Now, that could be a coincidence, right? Except I don't believe in coincidences. I just don't. But because if you ignore the signs, and the signs will go away. But so that's what happened there. And then I've had lots of other times where I was very upset because of something to do with one of my children, or very upset because of something else. And I pull light through my body, and the tension eases and the burden lightens almost immediately. And I've had clients who talk to me and say, they're having, like I have one client who's, she's having trouble with her marriage. And she's having a very bad day, and she will talk to me, and I say, well, when was the last time you pulled light? She goes, I just don't feel like it. Everything's so bad, you don't understand. I just don't feel like it. And I said, well, that's the time that you need to do it the most, when you least feel like it.
Okay.
Pull light through your body.
I have to ask you a question. I'm a man, and,
Yes.
It's just like telling me directions. Like, we're going over here. And that's how I kind of hear it. Like, we're going here. It's like, okay, I'm going to get lost for a while, and we're eventually going to get there. So tell me the steps for pulling light through again.
Okay. Here we go. You see a bright light coming from the heavens.
So my eyes are closed, correct?
Not necessarily. I mean, if you're driving, I pull light when I'm driving.
See, this is. I mean, these are like the semantics of it. I'm a guy.
Gotcha.
You have to tell.
Okay. Well, let me.
I'm dumb.
Well, let me start from the very beginning. No, you're not. Let me start from the very beginning and say I actually say words when I say either. I might say I call upon the light of Christ. I might say I call upon the light of Source. Sometimes I say, I tell people, it shows my age because I remember back when my kids used to watch He-Man, okay? And I'll say, I have the power.
Oh, come on. You remember Mork and Mindy as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. But I'll say, I have the power, or one of my favorite ones, that I actually designed this, and one of my favorite ones was Power Shield Activated.
Ah, good one.
And the light comes, so it comes through the top of my head, through my crown chakra, and you see this light come through. And like I said, some people embellish it, coming from a star or from Jesus or from God or whatever. But I don't embellish mine so much because it's not necessary for me. I just find the simpler I make things, the better they work. So, but if that's what works for you, then embellish away if you want. Okay, so I say, I call upon the light of Source, let's just say. And I see it coming through the crown of my head, and I see it increasing in brightness and volume as it fills my body. It just fills through my body and splashes through my body, through every single part of my body, every single cell. And I see it exit through my feet or through my root chakra, depending on whether I'm standing or sitting. And I just see it go straight all the way into the earth's core. So I have just lit up my whole body and sent light to the earth. And just think, if everybody was doing this.
Oh, I just did. I just reacted like my wife does when I say something that's incredible. It's like she just goes,
Exactly.
like, duh. But yeah, because I actually, as you were speaking, I was kind of invoking that thing, and I understood how powerful it can be. So that's,
Yeah.
and then I have something for you after we get off air.
Okay.
Got a goodie
Well,
for you.
and you can play with this light. Like sometimes I pulse it in huge bursts, and sometimes I just let it flow. Sometimes I do it 3 times in a row. Power shell activated, power shell activated, power shell activated. If I feel like I'm in danger or something. But you just keep doing it. And when I first started doing it, I didn't feel anything really. But you have to know in your mind that when you see it in your mind's eye, it's actually happening. So people have to understand that. If you're imagining it happening, it actually is happening. After about 2 weeks of me doing it, just every time I thought about it, I would, because it takes 2 seconds. I mean, what's the big deal, right? 2 seconds. So every time I thought about it, I'd do it. And after about 2 weeks of that, I started, not only do I feel it every time I say it, but my pinky finger on my left hand it sticks out like I'm being electrocuted. It literally I can't control it. It just sticks out. It's at an odd angle. So it really is real. And if everyone would do it consistently, you would begin to feel it, and then you'd begin to really understand and know that this is real, that your thoughts really are things. They really do work.
They are. This is true. And that's one of the reasons I built the Billionaire Lifestyle podcast. And, I struggle with some things because I know exactly where I wanted to go. But a friend of mine, I was like, I don't know how to make this what I want it to be. She was like, stop trying to make it be something. Let it be, and it will tell you, it will dictate what it is. And I said, okay. So now, as this is spreading, now I just get these random emails from somewhere in the world. Hey, heard about your show. I got some great stuff for you. And I'm like, let's do this.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Now, let me ask you about moving forward. So what do you have for the public moving forward? Are you doing workshops? Are you doing speaking events? I know you were part of my original clan, which is Toastmasters.
Yes.
Yeah, I was a Toastmaster.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I was a Toastmaster for a while. They taught
I love
me.
Toastmasters.
I do too. They taught me how to slow down because I was a ball of energy. They were like, "Whoa, hold on, Hoss." So they, and
they taught me how to condense.
Really, yeah. You where you were like, rah, 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 rah. 10 minutes later, the red light's on.
Yes. Yeah, I see that red light a lot. That's funny.
So what are you doing for moving forward for 2017, 18, 19, 20, and beyond?
Well, right now I am trying to schedule myself speaking in as many events as I can to teach people the 7 keys to a happy life, the 7 keys to joy, which really are the same thing as the 7 keys to super spirituality, to being connected and aligned spiritually. They're also the 7 keys to jumpstart your psychic abilities, just because you are reaching something, way beyond this earthly realm. And so I'm teaching as many people as I can. I'm actually just getting started because, this just started back in I started writing January of 2016, this Messages from Transcendent Beings.
Oh, really?
And it took me, yes.
I thought this had been out a while.
No, it's fairly new, and I'm actually writing 2 more books right now that sort of have to do with the same thing. It has the same 7 keys in them, but like I'm writing one right now that's called When the Law of Attraction Doesn't Work, The Secret You Haven't Been Told. And I'm writing that for people who really have had a difficult time to getting rid of their blocks and making the law of attraction work for them. We know it always working, but working in their favor.
Yeah,
And then I have go ahead.
There was a thing about the law of attraction when that item came out, The Secret. And what it was it was, how do I want to say this? Picture a dumpling, okay? You ever had like the round dumplings, the dumpling balls?
Yes.
Now picture a dumpling
Yes.
ball, but it's only the outside. There was not a lot of meat into it because it didn't give you any practical. It didn't give you a practical way. And I'm talking about like as a man who's in the scientific community ordeal. You know, he says, okay, this we got here. Now show me your steps so that we can recreate said thing, or show me the process that you arrived at that.
Right.
But that's what was missing, and it didn't even come out till the years later when The Power came out, and I think there was another book that came after that, but it was kind of too late. I was like, curses.
Yeah. Well, in my books that I'm writing, I'm not in a very nice way. I say that the law of attraction was being taught kind of backwards, because you can't just. I mean, some people can. People who've never had much want or need in their life, who pretty much are used to getting what they want. You know, that's just the way they were raised. They didn't have any real big blocks. Those people were able to take the law of attraction, picture what they want, surround it with some positive thought, and boom, it would show up in their life. They were already good at it because they had never experienced big blocks. But people who had really big blocks, they struggled trying to make that work, and that's because it's being taught backwards. You have to learn to have joy first. If you don't, I know this sounds terrible, to accept exactly where you are and who you are right now. And if you're happy, you know, be grateful for it. But if you're not happy, wallow in it and experience it and pretend like this is it. This is all you're going to have. This is it. Your life is over. You know, this is the end. If you can do that, if you can accept that moment right there and let go, the joy comes rushing in. If you follow the 7 steps, the joy comes rushing in. And, well, you know, you have to follow the 7 steps. But what I'm saying is find that joy first. No, not joy because you have anything. I call unshakable joy for no reason, and that means not joy because your boyfriend just proposed, and not joy because you just landed a sweet new job, and not joy because you won the lottery, but joy for no reason. When you can have that joy for no reason, even if everything were, you know, not the way you want it, and you can still wake up and have that joy because of your spiritual alignment. Because when you're spiritually aligned, you see things from a higher perspective. And when you see things from a higher perspective, nothing hurts. Things don't hurt anymore.
Yeah.
And when you can find that joy first, then all of a sudden, ironically, when you've let go of all your wants and needs, everything you've always desired just starts rushing to you. It's just amazing. So I talk about the secret being taught backward. And I talk about a few other things that people say don't exist, but they really do exist, and that is there are dark forces that are working against us, and that's why we need to light up this world. That's why we need to pull light. If I could get millions of people to pull light, it would just be so awesome.
Do you know what I can pull out of your name?
What?
Energy. Look at your letters in your name. I'm looking at it.
ENERG. Yes. Oh, I like that.
I pulled energy out of your name. Told you I was magical.
Yes, you are.
So let me ask.
Your unicorn is showing.
I am I gotta tuck my horn back in. You have 7 children, so I know they have taught you some lessons that you did not expect. And you have 7 children that probably have 6 different personalities or 6 different diverging types. What have you learned from looking at your family? Because, you know, people don't have families of 9 people anymore. That's very rare in, you know, in most metropolitan, unless you get out to Utah and some of the other places.
Yes.
But what is that energy like? What is that like for you? Because when you have that many children upon you, you have to give a lot of energy. And one thing that I know as a speaker, when I speak to larger groups of people, the more tired I am once I'm done, because I'm just bursting out with all this stuff and I'm giving it to them, and it takes it away from you, and then I have to recuperate. Is that very similar?
Pull light, and then you'll recuperate. Yeah. But you're right. You give, and I was just talking about this to one of my daughters because I was babysitting for my youngest granddaughter the other day, and she's 2. And I raised 7 children, right? But this young lady wears me out. And I realize it's because I'm having to be on all the time, turned on, just like you are when you're on stage speaking, just like you were talking about. You're on and you're giving your energy, you're giving vibrationally, continually, and it can really drain you. Yeah. But our family dynamic is a beautiful one. We all love each other so very much. They all have very intense personalities. All of my children do. That's mostly because of their dad, I think. But they all have very, very intense personalities, and they're all very strong. They're all very artistic. They all sing. They all dance. They're all amazing athletes, and so it's very vibrant when they're all around. It used to be there was a lot of fighting sometimes, but now everyone's just loves and respects each other, and if there's any little rift in the family, I have no doubt that it will be healed and it'll go away. So, but what have I learned from my children?
Mm-hmm.
I've learned forgiveness. I've learned forgiveness because I knew nothing when I got married. I'm 62 years old, and I'm only just now mature enough to raise a child. And
man, I have not laughed so much during a interview. I mean, I laugh a lot during interviews, but with you, it's just like we just sat down on the front porch and just hanging out.
Oh, I could hang out with you and your wife. We could have a blast. It would be so much fun.
Oh,
yeah, it would be.
Because we say whatever we're thinking, no filter.
Oh, that's cool too. That's cool too. Well, yeah, I learned forgiveness because, and forgiving myself. Like I say, I didn't know how to raise a child. I didn't even know how to keep house. Like I told you, I was born into alcoholism and abuse and neglect, and I didn't know that people did dishes after dinner. There's all kinds of things I didn't know. And I wanted to be a really good mom, and I had a lot of love to give, but I realized that just love wasn't enough. I needed to give structure and all the things that I wish I had taught them. But they learned the things on their own, and I have learned to forgive myself for not being the perfect parent. And they have been so gracious in saying, that there was nothing I did wrong, and that everybody just does their best all the time, and and they give me so much love. So they've never been disrespectful or ugly to me. So I just, I'm just so grateful for them.
Well, awesome. So how can everybody reach you? Give me all the things. Give me the Twitter, give me the Facebook, give me the website, give me the LinkedIn, give me your Google Plus, give me your Tumblr.
Okay. Well, the website is McCartneyGreen.com.
Now spell that because at first I thought when I first got contact, I was like, who is this dude?
That's right.
I thought McCartney was a guy.
Yes, a lot of people do. They write me back and say, Mr. Green.
Mm-hmm.
But it's McCartney, as in Paul McCartney, but MCCartney, McCartney Green, GREEN.com. And by the way, on my website, if you go over to the very right-hand tab, it's a little thing that says free gift, and that will give you the 7 keys, because we never really got to name them all. But it's a free gift. It gives you the 7 keys because I want you all to be filled with joy.
Wait a minute. So we have time.
Giving it away.
We have time. This is my show.
Well, heck. I almost used a bad word. I'm glad I caught myself.
That's all right. We're human. We're gonna go through that. Then we're gonna finish out finding out where we can find you, and then we're gonna go through the 7 steps. How's that?
Okay, That sounds awesome. So, McCartneyGreen.com. And on Twitter, I'm at McCartneyGreen. It's very difficult. And on LinkedIn, I am just McCartney Green. What is it? LinkedIn /in/McCartney Green?
Yep.
Okay. Here. Yeah. LinkedIn.com/in/McCartney.
You're doing like I do.
And
you have to type in your own address to find it, don't you?
Yes. I have to go to it. Oh, that's funny. And on Facebook, I actually have the fan page and then my page. So one of them is author McCartney Green, and then the fan page is author speaker McCartney Green. As I grow and evolve, who knows what titles I'll be adding?
That's fine. That's what we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we have those, and I'm going to put all this information on the show notes for the blog. That's emmettmuckles.com or the Billionaire Lifestyle LLC.com, where you can find this information. But now we're going to go through those 7 steps that, I think I cut you off when you started, so it's my fault.
Well, you didn't cut me off. We just sort of jumped because I told you one of them was so important. But you didn't. You certainly didn't cut me off. But okay, are you ready?
I'm finally ready.
I'm going to go through them really fast.
No, take your
I'll try to explain.
You remember what I said earlier?
Okay.
Slow your roll, pump your brakes.
It's your show.
Slow your roll, pump your brakes.
I am loving you, Emmett. No Toastmaster red light from you, huh?
No.
All right.
All I have to do is cook dinner, so we're good. So let's go with the 7.
Okay. All right. Number 1 is so easy. Be an observer of your own thoughts. Everything begins with thought. And there's nothing that can be done without thought, and there's nothing that can be done of the light without positive thought, so observe your own thoughts. Don't judge yourself. Don't be frustrated with yourself. Just observe. That's the beginning. When you find yourself in a bad situation, like you're angry or you're frustrated or sad or depressed, stand back and simply observe your own thoughts. Don't try to change them. Not for now, right now. Just observe. Because being self-aware and being conscious, this is a sign of an evolving life. So just observe yourself.
Okay.
You don't think about it, but everyone you meet, there's a second conversation going on. Every thought you have, there's a second conversation going on. Like, what is someone thinking right now? They're thinking, this woman is crazy, or I wonder if I have time to make dinner, or what are your own thoughts saying as people are listening to the sound of my voice? Okay. The second one is another really simple, easy. I swear these are so important. Just do them even though they're easy. The second one is hydrate and stretch. I know that sounds crazy, but people say, what could drinking water...
Say it again, sister.
Oh, good.
Say it again, sister.
Hydrate and stretch.
Amen to that one.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Water is not only perfect for flushing out impurities from our body, it is a superconductor. And it is an important part of our energy connection between our bodies and source energy. It is a spiritual conduit. So hydrating our bodies is important. And then the stretching is we're stretching and breathing into every part of our body and awakening every cell in our body. You can do this with yoga or something like that, but you don't have to, like I said, everything doesn't have to be hard. It can be simple. If you don't want to go to a yoga class, literally just stand on the floor, reach above your head, bend to the side, breathe, bend to the other side, breathe, bend over, breathe. Just feel every cell in your body. And the reason for this is you begin to feel your body. Your body is so important because our bodies are the they're really the real paranormal activity going on in this world, because our bodies are the place where the spiritual and the physical meet. Right there. That's the paranormal activity going on right there. The spiritual and the physical are meeting inside our bodies. So it's important to stretch your body at least. And that doesn't mean that people who are handicapped, someone said, well, how about someone who's paralyzed? They can't stretch. I said, well, they can do it inside their mind. They can visualize.
That's true.
If you visualize it, it's happening. So it's just hydrate and stretch. So easy. Do that in just a few seconds or a few minutes.
Okay.
Okay. The third one is the hardest one. Remember, I said the fourth one is the most important to me.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the third one is the hardest. And you said it. You talked about it earlier, actually, and that is letting go. It sounds like an easy thing to do, but most people find that they'll have to do this over and over all day, every day. But listen, everyone is just gripping onto life with an iron fist. We are trying to make everything in our life, control everything in our life, control how it turns out, control what we do. And we're not only trying to control our own lives, but we're trying to control the lives of our spouses or our children or our friends, even complete strangers. We want to control everyone and everything. We want to make it just the way we want to make it. And we have to learn to let go of that because really, you can't control everything, can you? So if you try, you're just going to make yourself miserable.
Yep.
So the old saying, let go and let God, you really have to do that. When I first started realizing that I was going to be speaking because I was given visions. It's one of the, I told you lots of miracles started happening when I started writing the book, but one of the things is I had visions of me speaking to large groups of people. And I joined a speakers association, and I thought, immediately the stress came in. You know, I wasn't good at it yet, and the stress came in, and oh man, how am I going to be able to put my website together? Oh, and how am I going to learn this, and what am I going to do there? And all of a sudden, the words came to me so strongly: stop, let go, just let go. And you know when you do it, because when you let go, it's such a peaceful feeling.
Mm-hmm.
When you let go of trying to force a relationship, you just let go and say, hey, I'm doing what I need to do. Whatever will be, will be. Let go. And it just, the best way I found to let go is to picture the absolute worst thing that could happen. And I did have to do this with somebody I loved very dearly. And they were very ill. And I was very worried, stressed out, worried. I couldn't sleep at night, and I had to let go and just okay, this person could die. And let's pretend that that's the worst thing that happened, just for a moment. And I had to actually just resolve myself to that. I had to accept that now. And when I did that, it was such a peaceful feeling. And I realized I can't control this, and as much as I don't want that to happen, I can't control it. So let go. And it seems like when I did, this person started to get better. So whatever. I just know that letting go is so important. And not only letting go of right now, but letting go of the past, of all the things that happened in the past, of all the horrible traumas that may have happened, of people that pissed you off and that you can't forgive. You have to let go of all of that.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you have to accept that someone's action towards you, but you do have to let go of it. Have to just let go. And when you do it, just your whole body just relaxes. But you may have to do it several times a day, every day, until you get used to it. Number 4 is pulling light. Do it. Let's do it right now, real quick. Just, I call upon the light of source through everybody that's listening. Whoosh, a big whoosh of light. Ooh, that feels good. Okay. Number
Oh, you did that
5.
like a Southern Baptist.
What did I do? How did I feel like
I was a musician in the church, so I've been around. I've been around. I'm not going to even go any further with that, so we're going to leave that alone. We're going to go to number 5.
All right. Well, hallelujah. Okay. Number 5 is meditation and prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, prayer.
Let me. Can I say it? Can I say it?
Yes.
Are you ready for it? So.
Yes.
Prayer is when you talk to your God. Meditation is when your God talks to you.
Thank you very much. You said it. That's right. That's absolutely right. Because he can't talk to you if you don't quiet your mind and listen. Right?
I'm gonna use that on
meditation is.
Don't say this, but I'm gonna use that on my wife and be like, "All right, I need you to meditate to me." She's gonna shoot me.
Funny.
She's gonna tie me down to the floor. But it's true.
I need you to meditate.
You know,
It's
but
true.
but it's so important that you say that because we're not taught that. I came up in Catholic school and they told you to pray, 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 pray. They never tell you to just shut up for a minute and wait for the and listen. Just slow your roll, chill your ice cubes, and listen. And that happened to me when I was going through my divorce. I started meditating and things just was like whoosh. Here you go. And it was just like,
That's right.
just mellowed out. All right. So
It feels so good to relax your mind too, doesn't it? It just feels good just to stop it and just breathe and just don't have any thoughts. And people have a hard time with it. And I tell them, you don't have to meditate for 15 minutes. I know they say that's the perfect time, but to me, just quiet your mind for 2 minutes, just for 2 minutes. If that's all you can do, don't beat yourself up over it, because the vibration of beating yourself up over things is a lot worse than not doing them, right?
True.
So just it feels so good just to relax. And I tell people if they have a hard time calming their mind, to picture water like a rippling pond and just see the water get slower, the ripple gets smaller and smaller until it's quiet, peaceful surface. Okay.
So that's number 5, correct?
That's 5, yes.
So number 6.
Number 6. Number 6 is actually aligning spiritually by raising your vibration. And, everything vibrates. We all vibrate. And, of course, God is vibrating at the highest vibration. And I tell people everything vibrates, even a rock. It's just vibrating at a very slow speed, and then a tree is vibrating at a higher speed, and a puppy is vibrating at a much higher speed, and we vibrate too. And what are you vibrating? And you can raise your vibration through, yes, positive thoughts, and instead of focusing on the negative thing that's happening, focus only on the solution. If something's just tearing you up, I had a bad day at work, don't focus on the bad day and don't tell that bad day story a million times. Focus on the good day.
Okay.
And if it didn't happen, visualize it. But raise your vibration through positive thought, through gratitude, because you can't feel grateful for something and be angry at the same time.
That's true.
You just can't. You can't. So gratitude is a good way. And then there's always music, dance, comedy, anything that raises your vibration. Just keep that vibration high.
All right.
All right. And then number 7 is so easy. It's paying attention. And people say, pay attention to what? And I say to everything, because synchronicities happen throughout your day. It could be the person sitting across from you on the bus, the birds chirping over your head. Just listen and watch and be the observer of life, because if you will do that, not only will the inspired thoughts come, but the aha moments will come. The meeting of a key person will happen. A shooting star will shoot across the sky right when you have a thought of, I wonder if I should do this, and a star shoots across the sky. Those are synchronicities, and those are signs that you are on the right path. I was asking for a sign one day, and I was doing a meditation. I was asking for a sign as I was walking my dog, and I meditate while I walk my dog. I call it this. I get in the zone of this walking meditation, and I said, "Oh, wait a minute. We're not supposed to ask for a sign. It says that in the Bible somewhere, doesn't it?" And they said that is a fallacy. He came to me very strongly and said, that is a fallacy. You must always look for the signs. We send the signs everywhere, every day, to everyone. And some people see them, and some people do not. Pay attention. The signs are there. So it's only if we write off those signs or those synchronicities, like, that was nothing, that was just a coincidence, that's when they stop coming.
Gotcha.
So pay attention. And we're done.
Easy,
right?
Easy peasy. It's
easy peasy.
As I usually say, it's a wrap, son. Well, thank you so much for giving the insight, giving us your story, and sharing. This is some really great information, powerful information that people should invest in and put forth in their life. And all I have to say is this. When you look in the mirror, people, there's going to be something staring back at you. Now, I thought of this today. When you go back, let's go back probably a couple thousand years. There was one individual that you came from, and some 1,000 years before someone came from them. So you really are a miracle.
I mean, just think how hard life was 200 years ago, and your manifestation came out of that. And to this time that we live in, that is unbelievably easy, we just make it hard. If you think someone doesn't love you, that's because you're not paying attention. Someone always loves you. Someone's always admiring you. You just can't see it. So, as she said, pay attention, because somebody loves you and they want to let you know it. You just haven't given them the opportunity to do it. With that, this is the Billionaire Lifestyle, and we're out. Say goodbye, MCartney.
Goodbye, everyone. I wish you all exuberant joy and ineffable bliss.
And till next time, peace, love, and joy. We're out.